Hi, Fizia. How are you
Hi,
today?
Oksana. I'm fine, thank you.
As usual, we're meeting every week, no matter what, no
No
matter
matter
snow or
what.
rain. Yeah. Last night was pretty strange. And you said that you've been having strange dreams too. My dreams, I mean, I would wake up every hour because I was checking on my phone the time. And like I would wake up and say, okay, well, I'm coming out of that cubicle. I call them cubicles. I literally saw, like, sometimes people describe like a beehive with those sections, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw like transparent virtual reality cubicles. They're huge and there are doors leading in each. And I was going into one, falling asleep for an hour, going there doing something. And then as I was waking up, I saw myself walking out of through the door. And then I was thinking, should I go back? Wait a minute, I think I finished up everything I wanted. And then I go back into another one. And it was so natural, like normal. In that state, I noticed that my mind, it doesn't think the same way like I think here when I'm in the physical body, totally awake and aware. I was thinking, this physical life, it's just kind of like a way to keep my body down, grounded, you know? That's what the physical body is needed for. But then I do something more like important and interesting for my soul experience in those virtual realities that because they totally need to be fixed. I remember that in my head. They need to be fixed because somebody created them and it's like a nuclear plant. We're talking about the Zaporizhia. If you created a nuclear plant, if you completely turn it off, it might explode.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't keep the cooling system going, and it's very hard to keep it going. The same idea, I feel like the AI created the virtual reality our bodies are plugged into. Like,
Mm-hmm.
here's the phone, you plug in, you're plugged into this surface, and we're here on the surface. So if you unplug from that surface, the bodies can just, something can happen. I mean, in your physical life, it may happen like an explosion or some nuclear or whatever, but you lose the body. And it's like you have to maintain it until you can transition with peace and at the time you want to transition rather than forced out in a low vibrational frequency through trauma. That's what I feel. I don't know what you see in your dreams, but
Well, I completely understand. I feel we are linked, but for me, I'm receiving a lot of attacks, probably because we are warning in our messages. Sometimes we try to encrypt words that they don't like, especially we know that the media is part of the system. So they check on us, they check what we say in the phone, they check what we look in internet, everything. So, and because I do protection before I go to bed, because let's say that my soul is in a container and this container is organic and this
mhm.
is pure for my body and mind together, because obviously I always want to keep in balance. Okay, so I did my bubble protection before go to bed, go so to sleep, and obviously the grounding. Thanks God, because when I went to sleep, when I fall to sleep, I felt like I was awake, was in a what do you call it, a REM,
I
a
understand. Yeah, you
REM.
were aware, kind of.
Yeah, but I felt, because I says, okay, people talking about spirit guides. I wanted, okay, for me, spirit guides. Like I says, guys, this is my opinion. This is the way I think. Spirit guide for me is a part of me. Okay, that to look after myself, which is yes, my guardian, because we can split our soul. My part of my soul is working already in the spirit world, in other dimensions. In this case, is like I'm basically I'm monitored by myself, if I'm doing what I agree to do
Mm-hmm.
with a part of myself, even if I forgot a lot of my experience in this planet or in other dimensions. I don't know if it's a part of the game or because the system erased me my memories, or if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. But anyway, uh, I wanted to connect with my inner self, and that was before I go to sleep. Okay, and we know because we have electricity around the room, the charger for your mobile, uh,
Mm,
everything is electric. So we are basically in a energy room, which is
right.
my energy is natural. All the rest is energy, but is
It's like a
artificial.
filter, artificial filter for us to
Exactly.
filter what we get
So and
information wise.
and sometimes this artificial energy they suck you in their realities, in they what you can say.
It's true.
Mm,
And then you start having strange thoughts, right? And
mm-hmm,
then you detach yourself from reality by thinking that you want to detach, and it makes total difference. They also infuse thoughts. I just know it because I always ask my kids, because I know sometimes what they say is not what they think. Like, how did you come up with this? I don't know, it just came to me. Like, you
mm-hmm.
have to be aware this is not your
Yeah.
thought.
So we need to understand it's very important to do protection. Anybody can have their own method, okay? Doesn't mean that has to be because I do in that way. Everybody has their own way. Even looking a glass of water and see your own
Mm,
face can be anything that protects you, that reconnect with your inner self, that you create protection. I use the planet because we are in a beautiful, beautiful an energy source, which is the planet, which we unfortunately we're not treating well. And then we have myself. I have my the source where I come from. I am an
mm,
alien that come from a source. Okay, what all the souls come from, and that is for me the most magic, powerful, because every time I connect with that source, I feel protect and think. Even pain, sometimes it goes away when I check and I created the rubbish, the portal with the rubbish, yeah, the trash.
mm-hmm,
When I take all the residues of my meditations, of my trance, and the dirt, basically, I chuck in this portal and close, and I stay clean. We
mm-hmm.
can do many, many methods to help ourselves to be clean and to be protected, especially before go to bed and when we wake up to obviously welcome the day, especially when we interact with a lot of people, when we go in places where we don't know what energy is there. Okay, people is crazy, people are shooting, but you with your protection, you always have a chance to be safe, okay, and to bounce back the negative energy that they try to suck you in their way.
Right. Because you
Anyway,
have your own electromagnetic field around you anyway, and that's how we feel. You look at the person, you kind of read the person's mind, even if you don't understand, you do. You feel something about the person, you either want to connect or not,
yeah,
ask a
one
question or
day,
not.
one day, that you remind me just a little tip, before to come back
Mm-hmm.
to our basically main topic. I was in the town center. When I receive messages, because our body is our metal detector, is our antenna.
Right.
Okay. Some people they can
It
feel itching.
scans
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah. Can feel itching in the nose or scratch in the head
Yeah.
or in your belly, wherever, or even your fingers
Right
moving
back at six.
strange. And
Uh-huh.
that it says, hey, look out around you because something is happening. I was walking and then my um basically left here. I had a problem when I was I think it was 12, 13 years old. I received a big slap from a teacher when I was not
Mm-hmm.
aware, and that caused me a problem with my what you call timpano
Ah, temple.
temple. Yeah,
Temple.
uh, that I had starting to have this ring for all my life until this sound was removed. Okay, it was a shock for
Mm.
me. And the pain, it was painful. But then when I did the first regression in my life, the team was able to remove this sound and
Mm,
I still have issues here to hear probably. It's like when you go to apnea, when you go under the water and you can hear. This is the impact of the
mm-hmm.
slap, what's happened to me because I was not aware. I was writing something and my teacher thought it was me that was making fun of him. He has his back of me. Then it just turned. It just I was with I was writing something. I received this massive slap. I was very tiny. I'm short basically.
Yeah.
And I was so tiny. I received this massive slap to my face, which all my head turned completely. I was like somebody honestly give me not like a punch of 100 kilos. And I was numb for 2 3 days. I was felt always unbalanced. In fact, this says I release lot energy like bleeding. Instead of bleeding, the bleeding in energy for the impact.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, because of this sound, I release the sound, but still sometimes something's left. I was in town center and I heard the ring, like when it rings like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like somebody is connecting with me, voluntary or not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I receive phone calls, but before I receive the ring, or sometimes I feel somebody's talking about me. If I focus, I know if it's good or it's bad. Sometimes I don't want to know at all. And I
Mm-hmm.
ignore. But anyway, at CureNet, I was checking. It's so strong. I says, if it's so strong, somebody is near me. I check. This guy was look at me like that. He was sitting in a cafeteria with the tables outside, drinking this coffee, and just look at me like that. And
Staring.
then staring at
Some
me.
people do that. It's almost like they take your soul out for a second and put it
Yeah, I says,
back
who are you? But then I recognize him was
when they
somebody,
do.
was a friend of a friend, but very negative people. But he was looking at me like that. Honestly, people that was chatting around, walking, people distracted. This guy was like I says, immobile. He was frozen. Look at me like that. I was like, ugh. At that time, I was not aware of all the things I'm aware, but I started to move I started to clean myself. I couldn't. So people think, "Oh, this woman is crazy." But I started to do this and move and cleaning. When you do
You
with your
can
hands,
shake it off.
then you
Yeah.
have to shake off quickly because it's the dirt. It goes out
Mm.
and that I realize that can impact your day. So the butterfly impact, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So which other energies create for you. So timelines, people, you can have always the map in front of you. So if people are more aware of these things, they can avoid a lot of stuff. Anyway, cut short, come back to the main topic question. I want to sleep and I had a few, let's say, with my son, we have a very too strong, stubborn personality.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Capricorn, like my mom. I'm Aquarius, with my liberal ideas. Capricorn, they're
Oh,
more conservative. But
that's me.
yeah, I like the personality because they're strong. I like the family attachment that they have. They really are loyal as a son, whatever you can argue, but they're going to stay loyal with you. So not never
Mm-hmm.
betrayed Capricorn. And whatever. Anyway, so went to sleep and I felt somebody because I wanted to connect it to my spirit guide with myself, my inner self. It was a woman. I says, okay. Oh, she is mad about you, Ephesia. Says, what are you talking about it? I says, I am curious to talk about different things. Yes, but let's check the person that is furious of you. I says, who's the person? It's your son. I says, hmm. And then I listened my voice of my son in the background. It was all dark, and I felt that exhausted and tired in the dream. And I says, Dominic, just leave because I'm tired. I don't want to talk. Just we talk later. No, I want to talk with you. And then the voice changed a little bit. Says, this is not my son. Then I
Mm-hmm.
felt behind me somebody that is holding you.
Yeah.
And and I said to him, "You're not my son. Just go away from here. Go away, because if I move, I swear I can destroy your energy." Because I said this word, I felt like a massive pinch in my
Mm-hmm.
hands. Honestly, this pinch, I wake up quickly,
Oh, wow.
and it was all red, and my hands was in a different positions. So I says, "What's had?" Then I check. I went downstairs. My son was sleeping.
Yeah.
I said, "What's going on here?"
That's how they trick us. That's
Yeah, they
always the
try,
case.
and that is the electricity, how they introduce themselves quick, quick, quick. But because I protected myself, I wake up in time because he was trying to grab me from behind, and I saw him in
Mhm.
time. This is why he disappeared, because I saw his face. He had very, very, let's say, straight hair, long. He looked like, you know, I don't want to
Nordic,
general.
little.
No, it was like a Mexican or Indios, yeah,
Mm,
from
Indian.
Amazon, with the long hair, very, but until here was a man, definitely was in his 20s.
Mm.
But he was angry because I saw his face. He didn't want to that see him.
Hmm.
He was very skinny, but he was grabbing me like that. And because I saw him, I realized this is not my son.
Right.
He pinched me here. So I wake up. I was still in pain. It was like massaging me here. And then I had to, I obviously my windows is open, but I had to go outside to take a bit of breathing and to clean up all the dirt that is. But the best is to to switch off all the electricity. But how would we do, Oksana, to without electricity when we live in electricity world? So yes,
It's like a big, big ball of chewing gum, and we're
yeah,
inside, we're all stuck. It's very heavy dimension. This is the heaviest you can imagine. They're not stupid. Once again, I mean, you think they just made it, oh yeah, let's just make it, let's just put souls in the bodies. They'll be able to totally connect with good, positive aliens. Good, positive aliens will give them
good
advice how to get.
Pleiadians,
Yeah, yeah.
bad
How to
Pleiadians.
get out? Do you think they're that stupid for us to get a chance to get out? Like this simple? For us to get a chance to get healed by some good aliens who come and help? You know what I mean? But what I really see, I researched for myself that this nuclear disaster, they're gonna prevent it because they really, like Dolores Cannon was right about this one. Those good aliens who would control the planet and would prevent any nuclear disaster from happening, those are us. Because for me, I only use 20% of my energy in my body right now these days. I just know it. The other 80 goes for the other uh, different realities, because this life is really so stupid. I mean, it really is. Like, all you do, wake up, you eat, you do the same stuff over and over every single day. Like, who invented this stupidity? And plus, you have to worry about, can I pay for the next rent for the next month? Can I afford
Exactly.
this or that? I mean, that's just kind of like a mute point, a
Because
Groundhog Day in the worst of it is.
we are a farm. Because we are a farm, like the
Yeah,
animal.
exactly. Like
We say,
animals, they
oh,
just
let's
wait for the time their body gets old and they can get out of the body. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, they go through the electric machine, get electric shot, and die because people need their meat or their fur. How
exactly.
stupid is that? If you got all the fake fur you want, all the beans and other lentils and all kinds of protein rich nuts that you can eat instead of meat. No, 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 we have to eat animals. We have to eat death. We just literally existing in the death. This is all reversed. We're not dying. We are actually finally uh, getting born when we die. When the body dies, we're getting born finally in
Yeah.
our original form. And this is called death. You eat dead bodies, you're living through death. I mean, I've just the whole thing is just when you look at it from all kinds of directions, and then the deception. It's a world of deception and lies. Period. People exist on lies. Like little lies, big lies, doesn't matter. Nobody can prove. And the
The,
lie,
the
the more they believe you, because the whole system supports that vibrational frequency. And it's all about how many likes, views, how popular you are, how many times people see you on the screen, and how you're hooked up to that egregore. Because
mhm.
I totally know, I know when I was hooked up to the egregore, and that's when I was, I don't want to say the word popular, but you feel it. It's like a flow of people, non-stop, non-stop, you know? But that's when you're hooked up to something for sure. But the all was fake because looking backwards, I analyze it was all fake news. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, not that
it's
I
like
was delivering the fake news, but it just the group of people, it's
yeah,
just all
they're very good because they offer. It's like when you go to a shop, you buy certain things, I buy different things. So they make happy everybody, you know?
yeah.
And some people, even if they know it's fake, they like to live in a fake. Says, doesn't matter. I like happy.
People prefer fake and happy. People do not want to hear anything about any problems
Mm-hmm.
of anybody else, of any other. They just turn off you know, they just don't watch, don't want to hear, they get tired of it. And I mean, I totally understand because on top of your daily life problems, you have to watch or understand. So there's some major problems happening to other people too, and you can go kind of insane if it's all piled up and it brings you down real bad.
Yeah.
So I totally understand each way, but I also see how people totally bunch up together to
Mm-hmm.
create this egregore, to become popular as a big group, and that attracts, it's like a beehive, it keeps growing,
Mm-hmm.
and people go there as for they see honey, because in us there's a big program. Okay, if my friend tells me these are good people, I'll go to them, or she or he had good experience. Most people don't really realize would it be good experience for me, or maybe that's not the right person, maybe I should look otherwise, and maybe the movies that is advertised as the best of the year is actually the worst of the year. I mean, it's just an example, but
Yeah.
it's just,
It makes sense. Um, yeah, it's definitely. Well, I like the words when you say we do definitely a boring life. I mean, sometimes we have some moments that okay, we have the family, we can eating well, we can celebrate birthdays, but it's the same repetition. Christmas, summer.
it's a
So,
program within program within program. Somebody set up a computer system, stuffed it with software programs, and we're following this programmed. We go to school at certain time, certain date. We at 18 we're adults. In the other country at 21 we're adults. It depends on the program set for each country. It's like those cubes that I see with doors.
mhm.
Different reality. It's like you can name it this country's Canada. You go live there, I'll be a little different from others. You go to Great Britain, I'll be totally different. You go live in Ukraine, I'll be totally different. And you love it anyway because that's all you know, that's all you're used to, because we are creatures of habit. Why? Because we absorb the program we are in, and we become part of this program. It's hard to detach. That's why we go to the other country. Food doesn't taste the same like in the home country. People are not the same like in the home country. Relationship, everything's like drives us crazy a little bit in the beginning when you're starting to get used to it. Getting used to it means absorbing the new program, reprogramming. It's like reprogramming for a language. It took me 2 years to start thinking in English. Before, I was thinking in Ukrainian.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what happened to me when I started to go to sleep thinking in English. I said, okay, I mean, the software is in now. It's working.
Right.
But it's good, obviously. I never regret that when we learn something new. Uh, what I realize about what the discussion is that more we are programmed, more we live, we are fit in this system, less freedom we have. When I come back in my years, wow, a long time ago, I remember I used my motor scooter, scooter without helmet. I
Like me.
remember, with the hair, yeah, was freedom, was not a, you wasn't even it wasn't even obliged to put your security belt, in the car, which I find
Yeah.
that is fair. But how I survived,
Back then.
80s and 90s, I can't believe. So you go to the
Yeah.
beach free. Now you pay to go to the beach. You have paid for everything. If you don't have a computer, if your children doesn't have a laptop or something, they are emarginated of society. I mean, we are getting less and less and less. You can't travel anymore around the world because we have this disease and this what we call syrup. If you're not, you're not
Mm.
allowed to travel anymore. It's like you are getting less and less freedom. Now there are, apparently, I heard that the new monkeypox, they call, the, you know, pandemic or viruses, whatever you want to call, is they are pointing the finger. They are the people with the homosexual, transgender.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you see, they're creating more and more different. What can I say? Genders of, like, yes, because they used the syrup, and they become all the people that they were suffering of AIDS, of there was H R positive, yeah. Um, they basically using the syrup, they basically awaken it again, the basically the disease. This is what I read, okay? We're not talking here to agree or not agree, but again, it's another propaganda to put another syrup in the market because of this new one, monkeypox. Do you understand? Which which will be
Yeah.
the next one then, to because we are bombarded by syrups, Oksana. We are bombarded.
Well, you have to, if you're dealing with if you captured a very strong lion in the jungle, and you want that lion because you can put a energy inside the body of that lion, and that energy is gonna make your whole city light up. Your
Hmm.
light bulbs, your electricity, you're gonna use him for electricity. But the lion is very strong. To make him sit down and not like constantly fight with you, you have to give him some toxic substances to make him a little sick here, a little bit like depressed here and there, pains here and there, problems here and there, and bombard him with everything. And, there are programs for that. You just insert a new disc. Oh,
You
here you
talk,
go.
you were
Good.
talking about lion.
I don't
This
know. It
is
came to me as a
and this
picture like
is
a
you.
lion in a
That's
cage, and
strange.
that's
Oh my
us,
gosh,
lions in
that
a
is amazing.
huge, giant cage, and the cage is electromagnetic. I mean, you lose the body, you lose the little cage within the big cage, you can get out. As long as you believe you can, believe. It's all about the belief. But belief he has to be strong enough because only when it's strong it works like magic.
This is
How to
why
make it strong? They
I don't.
repeat over and over to us one idea, one idea, one idea. Subconsciously, we're starting to believe, even if consciously we think we don't, but we create it.
I mean, I think it's like a preparation here for a new society.
Mm-hmm.
They are creating this in order to be ready. Even with our body, the strongest they should, in their opinion, remain in the in this earth. So there will be like a selection, natural selection. Yeah, not natural. It's not natural. It's a selection of race, basically. The strongest and the weak out, they are part of another world. And this is what they're programming. Some of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what I call forces. A part of me, which I had syrup when I was a little girl against other disease. To be honest, I'm not completely against because something protected me from, other. At that time, we had real, disease, and it's true that our life is much longer than a life of people living in 900 or in.
But our food is always cleaner and our water is clean as opposed to back then when people were drinking from puddles, garbage was all over the streets, thrown out of the
Yeah,
windows and
absolutely.
stuff.
But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of everything. But at that time, probably there was full of disease. There was not all these, let's say, all these chemicals, all these farms with factories, with all this smog, and we can take more and more disease. And but before the life, people worked much harder. Uh, Probably the food, yes, was more natural, but was less. Not everybody can
Mm,
eat meat or have the vitamins or have a juice. I mean, let's say if you was living in Russia or in the north, they don't have oranges, okay, to take vitamins.
mm.
And all the information we had about food is not like now, which we can find a natural syrup, yeah, defense for our
We
system.
had rose hips. I mean,
Herbs,
Western Ukraine is filled with herbs for different diseases and stuff. They made us forget how to use the herbs, and
yeah.
now they're starting up again with the kids. They're teaching kids in Western Europe. They actually have summer camps for kids who grow herbs, and the teacher teaches them which herbs to use for which disease.
Hmm.
And of course, the kind of they don't like it. That's one of the little reasons why they want to suppress Ukraine. Also, just like and this stuff exists in a lot of other countries. I'm not talking only about, but I'm just right now happen to focus on my country. I
Hmm.
also see a lot of men in black suits, and they are standing all around America, the United States, North America right now. They're watching everything.
So
It's like an army of them.
can you check, Oksana, what's happened to New York? Is people saying that I have a friend as well that she have bad feelings around New York. We talked last week about the change of climate. So with the water that will go into, it's like in many countries the water is like coming back. So this is why all many rivers they becoming drawn.
It's
Uh,
dry. They're drying up. Even our Lake Michigan, I was shocked. We had a fence
mhm.
in the water. I went to the beach with kids. I'm like, the fence is on the dry land. It's part of the beach now. It used to like tell you, oh, don't go there. It's too deep. Imagine that's too deep
Exactly.
became just part of the beach. But now this is just a different thing. They There's you can classify them as good aliens too, but there's some sort of deal going on. But it's not a deal. It's just the it came up to me as universal laws, split up realities, the universal balance. I just read the words I see. And positive vibration shows up, higher dimensions, negative vibration shows down. Um, and right now, the split in between two is happening. So, in a way, each country, let's say, that is pro good, you know, who knows what is bad, what is good, you know, people who support a country that is mostly supporting Ukraine, like Great Britain, Poland, Baltic countries, others, right? The majority of countries do, but there's a percentage. Those are on the scale on the goodness, and then the other ones on the negativity. But the reason why they're gonna be there are sanctions and all this. I see like a big fence. Okay, they're gonna fence it out, fence the negativity out in kind of like they don't want the mixed reality anymore. They want to have the only negative and only positive type thing. But that's not like they want. That's how we as creator beings decided before we turned the wheel of creation and it started unfolding like you unfold the carpet. And now I just see that real us as positive original aliens, that's our souls speaking. They are like unfolding, unveiling the DNA and the abilities we have to create the physical level of like bubbled good reality, because the good the negative cannot be mixed with positive anymore. I just keep seeing that cannot be mixed. He has to detach and separate, simply because it's something has to do with the moon, like you mentioned before we started recording about the moon. The moon has only this much power and only this many souls to power it up, and it can only focus on this much. It cannot focus on the all of it. It cannot overpower the people waking up. That's why you have to separate the people who awaken into this bubble of goodness or whatever positive reality that we are creating, and the other very negative people are going to be separated.
Mm-hmm. This is why you think there is a link that what I read. I have the article here. Just I read briefly, just the title, and just a little bit to make you understand and to focus a little bit there, because that is very curious. Why now the NASA, it's gone again. The NASA Artemis, this is the name moon mission is set to launch. Here's the science on board. Okay, now that we are basically a war, we have a pandemic, post-pandemic economy, the economy here, the gas, the electricity is why they going now, they spend billions of go to launch this mission to the moon just to explore. Let me read just a little piece, Oksana, and then you can go. If all goes to plan, this is the signal, the SLS will lift off from its launch pad on 29th of August and propel into space a small uncrewed capsule that is capable of carrying astronauts. That capsule, called Orion, will fly around the moon further than any spacecraft built for humans has ever gone, and return to Earth 42 days later. Further than I was checking. The test flight is crucial because NASA plans to use the capsule to send astronauts to the moon in the coming years. When this happens, it will be the first time that humans will ever travel beyond low Earth orbit since the Apollo 17 astronaut returned from the moon in 72. So, what is behind this curiosity? What is the sense here?
Expansion, exploration of the space, introduction of the idea that you can explore and you can live. I see big groups of people moving to Mars in the next 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the shuttles, space shuttles, because they need to Earth to themselves at some point, and they need to push people out. Because at that point, they're hoping that they genetically modify themselves to be able to live on Earth. Some alien groups are almost like standing in line and waiting to be genetically compatible with their bodies, and they try to almost like copy the life of humans and somehow use humans for reproduction. But they only need like small groups of them. Not They need the territory, the space of this artificially designed created reality to split up in different. Like I see this cross. You know how they draw this cross, like a German cross with four
Mm-hmm.
sides? It's kind of like our reality is one big circle, but then it splits up in this sections like this, and in between those. And I see a lot of moving of original humans back to Mars. It's almost, I got the word the planet calling, the restructuring, renovation of the original places, because the program is ending, the contracts are ending for exploiting a lot of planets for their. Because see, this people in black that are, they're the ones who dictate a lot. They are the ones I see in United States, but I cannot say that they are particular. They are involved in military. They have capacity beyond belief. They cooperate. It's like alien technology all over. A lot of alien technology we're not aware of that they own. A lot of it they can use easily, so they're not worried about some events on the surface that people's eye can see in the news. It might look like they are not acting like the American government, but they can um, shut down anything they want at any time from the sky. I get it from the sky. They have spaceships with the laser beams. They can deactivate any weaponry if they wanted to. So, but this is, it's kind of like genetic experiment. Genetic experiment. Original people have to be moved back to Mars. Everything's prepared there already. The city's been existing for, I guess, thousands of years
Mm-hmm.
under. They actually hoping to do something to the atmosphere of the Mars to get it back to normal, to make it more Earth-like with everything on top. Uh, and if they change something there, some of the mantis spiders and all these other huge bugs are gonna be also kind of dying out type thing. That's what I really feel. Uh, and there's going to be another experiment on Earth. Earth is like an experimental planet for them. So if they're done with an experiment, they have to collect the best species, just like what you said, the best people, the strongest gene pool, and relocate it. And
Hmm.
then start over again with a brand new kind of bodies and souls feed into the bodies. I feel like it's going to be an artificial soul project.
Uh, it's more, yes. I still feel the soul is very difficult to corrupt, to change. But it's the body that they're corrupting, in an organ, the container basically need to be much stronger, more robotic in a way,
Yeah,
superhuman.
that's what they
So,
want. Yep. They want, it's like a different level of computer game. This is going to be supersonic, super fast, different frequency band, different speed of light.
but I all,
Everything's different, much
yeah,
faster, much better, much more controllable. It's like a fun game for them. It's if easy, it's like somebody's playing with us
the
above.
PlayStation. In
It's
fact,
like we are inside this stupid PlayStation.
yes, but with all the structure, with all these evolutionary machines, uh, superhumans body, but in the end of the day, always humans and soul has to be behind to move. Okay, with entities behind. Entities, they are
Yeah.
always the shadow. Okay, because they don't have the high energy like a soul that can produce. We are at the most. I feel this is my opinion. Okay, because this is all my consciousness what says. I think we, because we are aliens ourselves, the soul is the one of the most powerful um, form of existence with other beings, but we are the one of the most powerful. This is why
Mhm.
everybody wants what we have, but it is difficult to get completed inside of our soul because we are like, these lights that people they want to trap inside of a cage, but the light it can go and come back wherever it wants. Um, to come back to the moon, I wanted to ask you. Okay, we know that when Apollo went to the first uh, if it's true or not, if the moon, if the astronauts they went exactly to the moon or not, it's still people they have a debunked here if it's real or not. But the astronauts they was around. They saw the aliens. They saw the spaceships, and apparently the moon is where the some aliens, the Greys apparently, they live there, and they make a deal with both of the forces, astronauts from Russia, astronauts from USA. So we even know that the moon apparently is fake. So in the end of the day, if they have a deal, what's happening now? Is they breach up a deal with the aliens, or the aliens they come up with a new sort of deal? Because if they are allowed to come back there, is because or they are fighting with each other, or that is something that they have to build together.
When you were talking, I actually got the information. There's a fake moon, that they actually landed on a fake moon. There's a fake one. There's
Mhm.
like a satellite of the major moon, and that is Zeta Gray headquarters there, and that's why we did land on the moon and we didn't. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
whole reality's rule is that you have the proof that we did, and you have the proof that we didn't. That creates confusion and split in the mind and in the body and in the brain and in the consciousness. We always have to be split up into camps, into thoughts, into camps of thought, into groups of fight with each other, into two realities. We're like live in a split reality that you can find totally proof of what you think you believe. There is a proof, and then if you don't believe there is a proof, then the same. That's it's kind of it's laughable, but it's the moon. That yes, that I have a feeling there are. For now, I see like the moon, the big, and then behind there's three moons, the smaller ones. And those are like a passageway in a way, like a filtration camp. That with the gates, they do not let you go to the original moon. Right now, I'm hovering over original moon. I'm using like a glasses for the see-through vision, like a X-ray, and I see layers and layers and layers of moon. It's like when you take a egg, take everything from inside out, and
Mm-hmm.
create rooms attached to the walls. That's how it looks like. And there is like big like a stick, steel stick, like a round, it's like almost like an elevator in the middle goes like a shift for the elevator, but it's round like a tube inside. That's what I see. um the other one just a supporting satellite system that they call the tail. The tail and the filtration system that don't let certain ships in into the headquarters. That's how they protect. It also creates some sort of like loop, de loop of electromagnetic frequency that you bounce off of the moon. Actually, on the side where it's lit that we see, you cannot even get close to it because there's some invisible layer that you bounce off of it. And that's created by electromagnetic kind of cage system or a as a tracking system also. Each tracking system is composed of little dots of energy, of electrical energy. Each dot of electrical energy connected to a person on Earth, a live person on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
unless you
So
disconnect.
are both basically it's like agreement because we know this is a fake reality. What they want to do, both of them, aliens and us.
Architect of this reality is actually a collective mind of all the aliens. It's not just one person. It's a collective general. It's like, Wizard of Oz. He always changes shape. It's kind of like that. It's an energy that can take any shape, but it's a collective mind of all the aliens who want to use our Earth. And it's just computer in a shape of a human, this architect that I see. And through this computer, they hold the reality together.
Hmm. I was thinking, Oksana, just now something arrives to me that is not definitely from, it's something they send me. This is why, that when we talk about we are aliens with a specific soul, creative, we are volatile because we nobody in the end of the day can trap us. In a way or another, we try always the way to escape, even if they
Mhm.
think they keep us in a container or they think that they can even steal the soul again. So many bodies in this we know we have a lot of clones around us, and they have a fake soul, which we understand that they are not the real soul from our source, yeah, where we come from, because they are robotical. They don't have a very, very big life. They're working very hard. If you notice, they are definitely a proper clone that work very hard routine. The mistakes they do all the time is because when the humans, the real humans with the real soul, they involve this kind of fake, yeah, humans
Mm,
with the entities inside.
mhm.
Then when they make mistakes, that's when they are caught, because behind people like Putler, behind all the other criminals in the world, especially when
Yeah.
they made a mistake all the time because they're not creative. Okay,
They're
they
just
are
fake figures. They're
fake
represented
figures.
for the physical eyes to see and think that he's in charge of the country, but it's not him. It's a huge group.
For me, two or three things are uh, that made a big for apparently powerful man or a woman, whatever, to
Mm-hmm.
fall from their big crown is power, which they want. At the end of the day, is not enough. Okay, first is money, which is a program. Then is power. Sometimes you can be the rich man in the world, but you can't be in the power. You can't be a president. You can't sit in the room with all the bosses of the world. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Then is sexuality. Three things that can make a man commit a disaster, a political suicide, lose all the credibility because of woman's or men's sexuality. If you notice, why? Because these people, they use souls, woman, prostitution, children, pedophilias like nothing. They're not empathic. This is why they don't have a soul. When we say that you don't have a soul because you don't have empathy, you don't have any sense of shame, what is wrong or what is bad. And this one we cut the fake souls because because you are getting used to for you using people, using woman, sex, power, money to fall because you don't use anymore your soul, your creativity. Everything is like you have a farm of pigs and you don't respect. You start in even not only kill the pigs, I mean the animals to eat, but you torture them and you find
Mm-hmm.
pleasure. It's normal, actually. It's normal to torture or to kicking them, to make violence, because you are completely disconnected from the animals. They are just meat. And this is when we cut the fake souls in this planet. With what it means that we have a lot of fake souls that are extraterrestrial, yeah, that are
Yeah.
some aliens. And this is why they go to the moon now, because something is happening here. They're losing credibility. This is why
Hmm.
there are a lot of people awake, and still there are two forces fighting with each other in this world. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
that's what
looking at the craters of the moon
Mhm.
and I see the spaceships that we don't see with physical eyes sitting over them. And these craters are called the pools of energy, the pods of energy, energy pods. They charge up the spaceships from the energy pods, which we call craters. The same you can hover over a volcano and charge your ship up with volcano energy. It's really simple. And
Yeah.
that's why they put those columns everywhere, obelisks. If you put your ship over obelisk, you can charge your ship up.
So all these monuments or stone ages is around the world, the fields in England with all the shapes
They
and
glow with energy from far away so they know where the gas station is to charge up
yeah,
the ship.
exactly. So what about us then?
What about what?
What about our category?
Ukraine is like a charging area. So it's either Russia takes it or America takes it. I don't know why I got it, but it just came to me. Russia's been always fighting with the United States, Cold War and everything. It's like, you know, it's either Draco reptilians take it over and completely incarcerate it and drain all the energy and also resources from it, or it would be with the United States and the Europe, but it would have more freedom, of course, for people, on the surface and physical level. And then they will be sharing resources and energy, but not in a dramatic way like Russia would just take it without giving anything back, and exhaust it to the point the whole territory will shrink and die.
Mhm.
So that's what's going on. So I mean, it just like if you speak from that point of view, I mean, it's better. It's great that Great Britain, Poland, great United States helping Ukraine to stay free, because with that freedom comes the free will. Should we do we want to share anything or don't we? But in a way, we're so thankful for being helped because the situation was created totally artificial, of course. We're thankful for being helped, so we will share. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And
So
and anyway, I
the
mean,
trickery game everywhere you look, it's just the way our reality is.
I mean, to be honest, it's not only that they are so good that helping Ukraine is because they know that if they don't help Ukraine, they lose lots advantage.
Yeah,
And we
that's
know.
exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Draco Reptilian will take it and totally destroy it, because
Mm-hmm.
look what they said, hundreds of thousands of children, they on purpose killed their parents, they on purpose deported those children, they on purpose said that they are Ukrainian orphans, and they advertised them for Russian families to adopt them. And what happens when they adopt them? They never speak Ukrainian to them, of course. They never tell them that they're from Ukraine because most of these kids are before the age of 5. They lose their identity. It's
Of
like they
course,
don't want the nation to exist. It's a
they want to
genocide.
recruiting a new
They
generation.
want everybody to become Russian. To me, they want everybody to become a killer reptilian in the army of reptilians. I'm not saying that there are not good people there, but good people, unfortunately, now all in prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect situation. All the opposition is, in the prisons.
Yeah,
So do whatever you want.
yeah, it's definitely is something that is quite very. It's quite a delicate. It's like we are all walking in the eggs right now, because we like or not, guys, we are unfortunately, the audience watching these big, powerful forces, USA, Russia. Russia's using Ukraine. Ukraine, but is used by USA. Whatever you want to move or to see in the angles, we are uh, risking a big, big, a conflict, which is nuclear. Anyway, because even if it will be war or not, it can be only one missile that it can go to the central nuclear of Zaporizhia. Yes, it's the name. Sorry for my pronunciation. And it can create a catastrophe like Chernobyl. And then when we can have that disaster, even if it's not be a possible war, nuclear war, but still, if the central nuclear will be touched, there will be a bomb, there will be a missile, a rocket, whatever you guys want to call, that can create a new world. So we have to use mask and not only, medical masks. Then we have to use different ways to survive, which is, I don't know if it's better die or stay alive. So,
Ephesia, there's one timeline that I'm seeing now that there is some sort of explosion that kind of looks like a big light bulb lights up that is so bright you can't even see through. And in response, I see the America and Great Britain shooting bombs at Russia. Russia completely destroyed. But that's one of the timelines. And
mhm.
I see on the timelines in writing defective. I don't know why it is defective, but I think it's probably because it's not going to happen. But they would create, in return, if that happened, it would create unbalance. It would, because see, this universe is created to be positive and negative together, like a butterfly, two wings. If you destroy one wing, butterfly cannot exist, it dies out. So
Mhm.
this dualistic reality will just die out, the whole thing would die out. It would stretch back to one point of light and disappear. And that's how every universe builds up. It builds up. It's like a laser. You point the laser with a one point of light to this particular spot, connect the thoughts of other creators. We want a universe to happen here. And here's your Big Bang theory. It's kind of like a Big Bang because it bangs all the minds together into one dot of light. That light expands and creates a universe. That would just destroy that little dot of light. It would shrink back to the one
Mm-hmm.
point, and that's it. Nothing ever
Exactly.
existed.
Okay. That's it definitely gives a lot of answers here, and definitely getting there. Obviously, we always are here to analyze and to receive all the messages when we channel. Especially Oksana, she has a big gift. I'm channeling sometime, especially with your energy together, is quite strong. But yes, I'm still believe that we still have choices. We have to be choose which timeline to live. So if there will be a timeline where we can definitely shut down a negative timeline,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are. So I'm really glad that we talk about this today. And next week, or maybe next few days, if you want, we try to
Mm-hmm.
be a bit more um, frequent investigations here. Uh, that we're going to talk about very important subjects like to reintroduce new style of life in because if there is bad things happen or not bad things happen, definitely we have to protect this ecosystem here with the climate change. We like or not, the climate is changing. There will be
Because of
different,
the split.
yeah,
It's also a physical split. It's kind of like you're stretching the territory out. When you stretch the territory out, the water stretches out,
exactly.
meaning it changes its borders. But it doesn't mean that it's disappearing. It's gonna reappear somewhere else, you watch.
Yeah, some they disappear, some they reappear. There will be new animals, new kind of species. There will be new bacteria, new bugs. I mean, you guys need to understand that we have a fantastic opportunity right now to to don't throw away books because the book's the only thing that stays with you because everything is electronic can disappear like that. I got my iPad with a lot of books that I read, but if there's no electricity, if there is not any for source how I can remember things because all
Right.
the books that disappear. So please guys, if you can photocopy, do everything you can about herbalism, about all the disease, bugs,
I think
everything
we
because
know all of it. Sorry, I interrupted you. We know all of it. I'll come back. The less frequency of AI, the more memories come back.
yeah, of
It's
course
like that.
it's always but it's always even to have the it's like when you check a map, yeah, and you find a
Mhm.
clue and then you remember, yeah, because this is what they do when change, when things, especially the planet, when they decide to shake us, then when
Mhm.
things were going to be mixed. So yeah,
It's all together. It's all a complex of things. We're also shaking it. We're also pre-programmed it for the goodness to win. We wanted to somehow, somewhat guarantee that the AI will not completely take over. Remember that. So the souls who are totally against the complete takeover will remain in this little but nice word. And like there is a reason why even my realtor in Florida said there's a big influx or whatever it's called, the tons of people from New York coming now. Like even people who are not awakened, they still have intuition a lot of time. Well,
hmm,
why are they coming specifically now? Think about it, to Florida. And so the market of rentals is crazy, absolutely insane because there's so many people want to live there. Why is everybody going to certain spots in the world? Why?
maybe because it's more freedom because they're not obliged to do things like in other.
Right. It's true, but also there's something about, if your soul doesn't want you to go at a certain time, you're not gonna go, trust me.
Hmm.
When it wasn't my time to go, even though I wanted for 22 years to go there, I wasn't able to. Absolutely was impossible. So there's always a reason, and your soul usually works in very good symbiotic relationship with your physical mind. Just trust that feeling inside. Like, do you feel calm
Hmm.
inside? I feel totally calm inside. I mean, there's stuff gonna be happening crazy, but I just kind of know I'm gonna hug that invisible tree and stay calm as that tree, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I mean, we obviously that we have a definitely lot of emotions inside of us, and to keep all in a level is quite difficult, even if you have the best knowledge in the world and experience to remember things, because remember, we are always in a human container. But that's fine. That is the big deal here, because we can touch, we can think, we can smell everything. So
Um,
I always, but still, I got sometimes I think, oh, this is the books that I want to keep, or that give it to my son to give it to his children today,
mm,
because it's always something a proof that we existed. And sometimes even write down some things in a book that keeps yourself
right.
alive with that book, okay, that goes with other people, other souls. And then one day, in 2 3 generations after, you can recognize yourself in that. Yeah.
Right.
So
I have books like that from my grandma given to my son
fantastic.
when he was 4 years old. He's 18 now. When
That
we
is amazing.
visited Kiev. Yeah,
Because
that's
people say,
nice.
"Oh, write this." Oh, that was I was the grandma of
Yeah.
Oksana. I live in that. Always write a message in the books, and this is what I go to do. Write always messages in every book I read. I leave I put my date, where I live, what I do. Oh, today I got for 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever. But I was here. Okay, and this is the clue for myself when I come back, if I want to come back, obviously. And
That's a big
so,
question,
so
right?
they say, Fizia, come back here. You have to do your duty. Which duty? I can be a rebel, definitely, even in
Right.
the
I
other.
can't wait to see their eyes if I go through this, one of those gates with those reptilians dressed up in white as the angels. I can just, yeah, I just know what I'm gonna tell them.
the new
It'll
the new
be funny.
face.
Oh, yeah, right.
So perfect. So I have in about 30 minutes session, a very interesting
Good.
session with a nice client.
Oh.
We talk a lot about important stuff, which is more about, because children usually, why many people have issues in the adult life because of the childhood.
Yeah, it's all pre-programmed in childhood. It's
Exactly.
the way it is.
Big shocks, big traumas, accidents is when the software will go into, or the raise will
Hmm.
be happen when we are child, sometimes even in the womb of a mother.
Right.
And this is where they will going to have a lot impact in. It's like when a computer starting to don't contain anymore a software. Computer
Right.
started to broken up.
It
The
turns
software,
into a
exactly.
hardware disk. It turns
Yeah,
into a hard disk and it's
and
harder to reprogram it all of a
exactly.
sudden.
And this is why we have to work with all these adults, that they need to remember what's happened to them, and to take off the software, and they are allowed to make their own software, if you want to call like that, to be free. To
Mm,
actually is a protection, to not allowed in adult life to be erased, or it to be manipulated in the new experience. If it will be in the earth, it will be in another, in Mars, whatever. So this is
mm.
this is our mission here, to clean up many souls as possible. So after our goodbyes, I'm going to speak with this wonderful lady. So
Okay. And you
speak
can
soon.
watch the session on your channel.
I mean, if she allows me to publish, she's
Okay.
Italian, so she going to speak in Italian. I need to to convince my son to make the translate in English subtitles,
Oh,
because
it's very
I
hard to do subtitle. It takes enormous amount of time. I've done one video. It took me 2 weeks of struggle.
already.
Yeah, I was working even at night. I said never again. It's very hard. People don't realize how hard it is, subtitles.
But I have a lot of videos that I still have to blur, and I got a lot because I do constantly sessions. But
Hmm.
yes, guys, I mean, if there is traumas, if there is attachment, if there is implants from other entities, EI, implants, and then we have spirit attachment of when just you go to the marketplace, when you go to the shop, you can receive a spirit attachment like a sudden headache, throat ache, heaviness in the
Retreats,
chest, but
ayahuasca,
like
ceremonies, anywhere. I've seen people from any of those, plus guided
sometimes.
meditations was a drum. I had a friend of mine who got an attachment from that.
Yeah, can be anywhere, exactly. But sometimes I get attachment, but when I realize it's something that is doesn't belong to my body, especially when it's sudden like that, it says, look, wherever you are, you're not welcome. Me, look, I suggest you to go to this beautiful, I can call light. Doesn't mean is this fake light.
You created it
Yeah,
for yourself.
go there and you can go to the best source of energy, of happiness you never had before. It
Hmm.
quickly goes away. I mean, we need to sometimes to understand what kind of spirit attachment is with us. They're not necessarily bad. They are souls lost. They are trying. They find the first body. Example, my of the tutors that says a guy had an accident, was in his 20s. He dies. He was looking for his mother because this my tutor, she was passing by and she had the same age of his mother.
Hmm.
He was looking for a mom, and then he went to his, and then she understood that was this because I mean she channels a lot. She do things. She says, "Okay, honey, you go. Your mom, she's waiting for you there. That go to that reality, this beautiful light. You're going to be happy again. Okay, you are safe now. Don't worry." And then that it left. She said, "My I mean, heaviness that I felt in the shoulder just completely gone. But we have to be very, but sometimes we know that not all the attachments are so good.
Easy to get rid of too. I mean, you should try. Like it's worth trying because a lot of times you don't even need anybody to help you. But like I, for instance, needed, but I needed to know my story
Mm-hmm.
to analyze it, and
Yeah,
that
of
was easier
course.
to release than.
I mean, before we leave, just to say one thing. Sometimes I use my pendulum because when I don't do telepathic, which I'm not doing anymore, obviously I need to work with a telepath. But when people have really difficulties to go in trance or meditate or focus, then we use a telepath. Okay, like you can. I know you can be a telepath, but obviously
Mhm.
you are very busy. We can't do this right now. Even me, I'm doing certain thing. But I help the client, even if
Mhm.
it doesn't have big let's say the easy ways to go in trance to teach them
Right.
easily. Okay, I use my pendulum, I use my charts. It's different ways to get there. So, and this is when the people get to free themselves, even for anything, for everything that bothers in that moment, because this is
Mm.
when the awakening is happening. Anyway, thank you so much. We
Thank
have to
you.
go. And ciao,
Yep.
ciao. See
Ciao,
you
ciao.
next
A
week.
presto. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.